Welcome, Professor Dysvik here at WU Vienna. Thanks for joining us and for joining this conversation. One question that immediately comes to my mind when listening to your story of life is why have you joined academia at all? And now that you're in academia and very successful in academia, what do you specifically like about it, and also, well, what is not really to your taste or even you hate it?
Well, first of all, Wolfgang, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be back in Vienna. I find this city beautiful both in summer and in winter, basically throughout the year. And also you have a magnificent campus, as you well know. So you have a school that you should be really proud of. Now, I hate to admit this, but actually going into academia for me, it turned out to be quite a big coincidence when everything came. The older I get, and hopefully a little bit wiser, I start to reflect more and more on the coincidences of life and how I think they shape our careers more than we are perhaps willing to accept at some times. As you know, I spent a lot of years in the Norwegian military before I decided to go deeper into my studies. And when I started to study at the University of Oslo, I had the intention of working in some kind of HR-related profession, which involved, of course, people, given the background that I had as a leader in the military. And by chance, some of the students that I studied together with, they actually worked in my current school, BI, Norwegian Business School, as part-time teachers or even part of the administration. And it turned out that one of the teachers there fell sick, and they asked whether I could step in and teach a few hours of organizational behavior, which I did, and apparently they liked it so much, so they offered me this temporary position when I was studying. And then they offered me a teaching position when I was done with my master's. And then gradually I came into contact with the research environment in our school, which basically told me in usually the blunt and not that polite way professors can give advice that you should either do a PhD or you should get out of this employment and do something quite different. That wasn't the exact words that were used, but that was sort of the content. So the school funded a stipend for me, so I was able to do my PhD studies there. And since I already had tenure, then I qualified in the Norwegian system to get a tenured position as first associate and then gradually full professor. So if somebody told me that I'd end up as a professor in a business school 15 years ago, I would probably think that they had fallen off a train or something like that, because that was never on my mind until gradually I became known with academia and I saw all these opportunities arise, which is gradually then related over to your second question. Let me start with what I really appreciate about our jobs first. I think that we are among the few sacred groups now still left in Europe that